Kansas is changing. The change isn't always visible, but you know it is there. You can see it on a lot of main streets, more empty storefronts, and fewer kids riding their bicycles. Many communities are losing population, and with that loss goes the rich heritage of our small towns.
When I was growing up, we had 4 grocery stores. We had a couple of hardware stores, I think maybe just 1 pharmacy, doctors up and down the street, and just, it was so different than what it is today.
Kansas is not unlike Iowa and other states in the Midwest, where smaller communities are struggling to keep the local schools strong, the hospitals open, and the grandkids close by.
It wasn't too many years ago, Dubuque was known as a blue-collar community that had the river and didn't do a whole lot with it. It's the revenue that came from the gaming that provided the opportunity for Dubuque to rebuild its infrastructure, to rebuild its community, to create the kind of place that the nature of companies that you've mentioned are inclined to want to live in. The IBMs and the McGraw-Hills and the Prudentials and the Medlines and so on, they want to be in a community that's easy to recruit into. Today, it's known as a thriving, modern city.
Peninsula Gaming came to Opelousas in 2002, and to this area, they represented the single biggest capital project investment probably in the history of our parish, which would be considered a county in other parts of the country. And what it basically did was it rejuvenated, it revitalized this area. It put vitality back into what had been a stagnant economy for many, many years. It was the single biggest investment. People began to get excited about it. Not only did it bring new jobs, but it brought in a whole new concept. And people began to realize that, wow, if this company is willing to invest that much money in our community, then it renewed their pride and their determination to begin investing themselves. In addition to that, it meant hundreds of jobs for a community that had never witnessed that in its history.
South Central Kansas has seen more economic downturn than any other region of our state in recent times.
Many of our families are also directly connected to the aviation industry, and with the struggle there and just so many layoffs, many of the families are struggling. I mean, we've seen time and time again kids who all they get for Christmas is a new pair of shoes, or they don't have enough money to get another notebook.
And that's going to continue until the economy picks up. So this would really take up some of the slack of that.
The Kansas Star is making economic development throughout South Central Kansas Job One. The Kansas All-Star Scholars Fund will be a powerful tool in attracting families with school-age children to the area. Local education will be supported with a $1.5 million annual scholarship fund.
It'd be a tremendous asset if you've got 4 or 5 kids and you send them to school and you start paying for textbooks and all these other things. That's a huge amount of money. And that would really be an asset to the students and the teachers and the parents and the community.
I went to high school here. Well, I went to junior high, high school, and when I came back to teach is when I noticed suddenly the community pride is huge. I mean, the students every day are wearing the Wildcat shirts and the green and white, and that's something I think is tremendous, is they are very proud of their community, and they want it to be successful, and they want the kids to be successful, and sometimes money just gets in the way.
I volunteer in her classroom a lot, so I see how the school supplies are stacked up that the parents have to buy, so, and you know, that's not gonna last all year long. So, you know, that extra income for the teachers, you know, I think is very important, so that they'll have the supplies that the children need to last through the whole school year.
Every classroom teacher will receive $500 for classroom supplies each year. All students in grades K through 12 will receive $100 to cover back-to-school costs. And all graduating seniors will be eligible for $1,000 scholarships for their post-secondary education. These benefits will apply to everyone in the Sumner County School Districts and Mulvane. The fund will be governed by a local board, Its first chair will be former chairman of the Kansas Board of Regents and a lifelong education advocate, Jill Docking.
I've dealt with 3 or 4 gaming companies and 6 types of developments. And I must say that the Kansas Star development, extremely well researched first, that they were talking to me early on about how the ground lays out, what's the infrastructure, what are the challenges there. And I was able to kind of work with them on something that's extremely sensitive in this area is the traffic studies. Okay, have they talked to Department of Transportation? Have they addressed the issues of the neighborhoods that don't want this type of traffic in their rural environment? And Kansas Star, they have good partners locally that understand the local environment and the local concerns of the citizens, and they've really done their research. The devil's in the details, and they've taken care of the details extremely well.
With a keen eye to traffic, drainage, and all of the details that are extremely important to local residents, the Kansas Star has invested resources and good engineering to be responsive members of the community from day one.
You look at Peninsula from Iowa, they fit. The first time they came to Sumner County and was introduced to the communities, it was like they lived here. They were from Kansas. They fit what Kansas needs. In the last 3 rounds, no one has offered what Kansas Star is offering. You've got a group of people coming in who's going to help every single student, every single family that has children. Seniors get a $1,000 scholarship. The teachers, their $500 class help. As far as I'm concerned, Peninsula is the only developers that's come to Sumner County and offered to help Sumner County as a whole.
Yes, Kansas is changing. We're working to find new ways of creating energy, attracting new jobs, and drawing visitors to our great state in record numbers. The Kansas Star, with its world-class casino, hotel, and equestrian and event center, can play an important role in helping shape a brighter future. Peninsula Gaming has its roots in the Midwest. Together with the state of Kansas and the communities throughout South Central Kansas, it can serve as an asset we'll all be proud of. Let's add the Kansas Star to our lineup of Kansas greats.
Ball's down, Chalmers shoots. Oh! 3, the game tied, 2.1.